future authors, entrepreneurs, and leaders. My name is Mercedes Johnson. I am the author of Her Story, Breaking Through Darkness. And I am here today to speak to you all in regards of the tests and trials that I endured in the midst of writing my book, as well as the obstacles that presented themselves when it came to publishing. And lastly, I am here to encourage all of you who may have dreams, who may have gifts, talents, ideas, who may want to write a book or start a non-profit or a program, whatever it is. I am here to encourage you who are at the point of wanting to quit, who's at the point of saying, what is the use? What is the purpose? So I'm here to encourage you. In the midst of writing my story, my book, Her Story, Breaking Through Darkness, I encountered a couple of tests and trials, and I will speak on one in particular. In the midst of me writing my book, the Lord had to take me back to some situations that I tried to run from for years. And He had to take me back to some of those situations in order for me to receive healing in the midst of writing my book, Her Story, Breaking Through Darkness. And there were times where I didn't want to remember the pains of being molested. I didn't want to remember how it felt when I lost my mother. I didn't want to remember how it felt the day when I had to walk up to the casket to see my mother laying there. But in order for me to, for one, finish the book and receive healing, I had to allow Him to take me back to some of those experiences that I had buried deep in by either smoking, drinking, clubbing, sex, and everything else. And so, writing this book, one of the strongest struggles or trials that I endured was allowing God to heal me, because it hurted. I didn't want to remember. And so when writing this book, Her Story, Breaking Through Darkness, it was a season of healing for me. It took me 1 year, a year and a half, to write the book. And it took so long because there would be times where I would have to put the book down because it evoked too many emotions and feelings that I forgot was there. So that was my journey with writing this book. It was a journey of healing and a journey of deliverance, and lastly, it was a journey of confronting my own mask and false identities of pretending. So I found this publishing company, called them, connected with them, and it was great. The young lady who was helping me, she was very, very eager, or seemed to be very eager, to get a copy of my manuscript to start the process to see if my book was a book that they wanted to publish. Sent her the manuscript. It was great. Got a call back within 2 to 3 days, and they was like, hey, we want to help you get your book out. And it was great. You know, I was like, right, I'm excited. Let's get it done. In the beginning, things were good. Things were going as scheduled. We started off with the editing. After the editing, we began to work on the book cover. After the book cover, we began to look at different months and dates for the publishing company. Not the publishing company, for the release dates of the book. Got that figured out. After that, more obstacles came into play. More obstacles came into play. It was with their marketing. Once the marketing came, the communication that me and the company had, it began to decrease. I will call them, email them to try to figure out the process of my book, and I wasn't getting any response by phone or by email. So when the publishing company stopped communicating with me in front of people, I felt as if I had to pretend that everything was still going great. People were coming up to me asking me, how's the book going? And I'm excited for the book, and I got my calendars marked November 29th, and I'm excited. And I had to pretend like, yeah, I'm excited too, and blase blase. While all along, when I would leave and be by myself, I was very, very stressed because I didn't know what was going on. Only thing I could do at the moment was just hope and pray that they wasn't taking advantage of me, that they didn't take all of my money and take my book, the first book I have ever written, took it from me and basically kept it for themselves because the copyright and stuff was in their name. And so it was very discouraging, very discouraging. And like I said, I hoped and prayed and hoping that when November 29th came, which was my release date, that somewhere surprisingly they was gonna say, haha, just kidding, here's the book. But when November 29th came, there was no book, there was no publishing company, there was no publishing company. There was no nothing. And I didn't know how to feel about it. I didn't know what to say to people. At that time, I didn't know exactly how to pray about it. I found myself at a point where I just said, forget it. I wanted to give up. I wanted to never pick up a pen to even write, to even focus on that book. I was at a point where I said, okay, forget it. I'm going to just work on something else. And it was very discouraging. And when once again people would come up to me, I didn't know what to say to them. I didn't know what to say to them. And so what made me motivate myself to strive was when I sat down and I looked at my manuscript and I was reminded of the time I invested in writing this book. I was reminded of the tears that I shared or shed when writing this book. I was reminded of what was taken out of me when writing this book. I was reminded of the healing that I went through with writing this book. I was reminded of the money that I invested in writing this book. I was reminded how I invested in myself for once. Whatever you do, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your vision. Don't give up on your passion. Don't give up on your book. Don't give up on you. Don't abort the baby that is on the inside of you. Whatever you have to do, press. Whatever you have to do, push. Encourage yourself. There will be a time where others will be around you who won't be able to encourage you, who won't be able to push you, but you have to believe in yourself so much that you're willing to push yourself past the discouraging, past what may look like to be a bad thing on the outside. But you have to know that the vision that you have, the book that you have, the baby that you're carrying is one of success. I had to learn that for myself. When everything around me looked as if it was against me, I had to remember what God have told me. I had to remember the time that I invested. I had to remember the tears. I had to remember the baby that I was carrying, and that when I birthed this baby, that it's not just for me, but it's for those who are connected to me. So I really want to encourage any person, any young person, any older person who have visions, who have dreams, who have passions, but don't know how to unlock it, don't know how to go forward, don't know where to pick up, because you then told someone about your vision, you have told someone about your dream, you have told someone about your passion, and they may have laughed at you, or they may overlooked your passion or your dream. I want to encourage you to not to give up on you, because at the end of the day, you are your biggest motivator. So I encourage you to motivate yourself and push yourself, because I had to learn in the midst of my trial that I had to push myself. So I encourage you to push yourself. And if you do push yourself, the very door that was closed, a greater door will open. Once again, my name is Mercedes Johnson. I am the author of her story, Breaking Through Darkness. And if I endured the tests, the trials, the obstacles, I believe that you can too. Thank you.
My bad.
Producer!